Dawn on the Arabian Sea. A U.S. carrier strike group worth $13 billion, sensors scanning for threats, is about to face something its commanders never trained for. Hundreds of cheap Iranian drones are launched in silence, designed not to destroy but to disrupt. If even one gets through, it could prove the future of war is cheaper, dirtier, and far less certain than anyone at the Pentagon admits. Here's what happens next. The USS Abraham Lincoln moves through the northern Arabian Sea with its lights dimmed and radios silent. A floating city of steel and reactors, nearly 1,100 feet long and weighing 97,000 tons. Surrounding it, cruisers and destroyers trace invisible arcs across the water, each bristling with radar arrays, missile tubes, and electronic warfare suites. Submarines and unmanned vehicles patrol beneath the waves, extending the strike group's reach far beyond the horizon. High above, an E-2D Hawkeye circles in a wide orbit, its radar sweeping more than 300 miles of sky and sea, feeding a constant stream of tracks into the carrier's combat information center. Infrared satellites, locked in geostationary orbit, scan the Iranian coastline for the faintest hint of movement. Every sensor is tuned for the unexpected. Emissions control is more than a tactic, it is a way to shrink the ship's electronic footprint, making it harder for any adversary to pinpoint the carrier's exact location. The strike group's layered defenses are designed to handle everything from supersonic missiles to stealth aircraft. Each ship is equipped with the latest SY-6 radars and rolling airframe missiles. The carrier itself can launch over 80 aircraft, from FA-18 Super Hornets to F-35Cs, at a moment's notice. A retired carrier strike group commander once summed up the posture, "It is not just about what you see, it is about what you cannot." Out here, certainty is the first casualty. On paper, this is the most heavily defended naval formation ever assembled. Every layer is built to stop threats before they get close. Yet even in this fortress at sea, there is an unspoken understanding: if something slips through, everything changes. Along Iran's southern coastline, a different kind of arsenal waits in silence. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has spent years turning the clutter of daily life into a launch network that stretches for hundreds of miles. Fishing boats, indistinguishable from the thousands that trawl these waters, carry sealed containers holding attack drones. On shore, trucks painted in civilian colors slip between villages and concealed depots, each one able to set up a launch rail in minutes before disappearing back into traffic. Temporary platforms, sometimes nothing more than scaffolding on a deserted beach, dot the coastline from Chabahar to Bandar Abbas, each ready to send a drone skyward at a moment's notice. None of these launch sites are impressive. Most are designed for single use, abandoned or disguised as soon as the drones are airborne. The drones themselves are cheap, often costing less than a new pickup truck. Some are assembled in workshops near the coast, others arrive by truck from factories deeper inside Iran. The real strength is not in their technology, it is in their numbers and their spread. Dozens can be launched at once, from points scattered across more than 200 miles of shoreline. Some come from the decks of merchant ships or fishing boats, drifting just outside territorial waters, making it impossible to pinpoint the origin of any single contact. This approach is not about overwhelming with firepower. It is about stretching the defenders thin. When threats can appear from any direction at any time and at a price that invites repetition, even the most advanced warships face a problem that is not measured in missiles or armor. The cost of stopping every drone, every time, quickly outpaces the cost of launching them. Simplicity and scale become the adversary's greatest weapons, quietly rewriting the rules of engagement before a single shot is fired. Radar screens fill with shifting echoes, some sharp, others smeared by the restless surface of the sea. The AN/SPI-6 arrays and the E-2D Hawkeye's APY-9 radar are engineered to spot threats at the edge of the horizon. But slow, low-flying drones hug the waves, hiding inside the noise of sea clutter. Space-time, Adaptive processing helps filter out the background, yet even the best algorithms struggle when a drone's micro-Doppler signature is barely above the waves and nearly drowned out by the reflection of a 4-meter swell. Electronic interference, deliberately subtle, seeps into the spectrum, just enough to muddy the picture. Tracks blink in and out. Some appear for only a few seconds before vanishing. The system flags a contact, but by the time it is confirmed as a threat, precious seconds have slipped away. In a real swarm attack, those seconds, sometimes just 3, sometimes as many as 10, can mean the difference between intercepting a drone at a safe distance or reacting when it is already inside the defensive ring. A sensor specialist describes it this way: it is like trying to spot a shadow moving across ripples in a pond. Every pass, the picture changes. The layered sensors and fusion networks are powerful, but perfect information is always just out of reach. No matter how advanced the technology, the sea and sky conspire to introduce uncertainty, forcing every decision to be made in the fog of milliseconds. Inside the Combat Information Center, decisions stack up faster than they can be resolved. The radar picture is a shifting puzzle. Some tracks surge toward the carrier, others veer off toward the escorts, and a few flicker out only to reappear moments later. Operators race to classify each contact, but every second counts. On one screen, a cluster of drones climbs just high enough to draw attention. Elsewhere, a handful skim the surface, threatening to vanish entirely. The temptation is to intercept everything, but magazine space is finite. Each standard missile launched costs millions, and each drone costs a fraction of that. Fire too soon, and the next wave may find the defense depleted. Wait too long, and something slips through. Some drones are decoys, turning away at the last moment, pulling sensors and fire control off axis. Others fly erratic paths, forcing officers to guess which ones are real threats. The swarm arrives in waves, compressing what should be an hour-long engagement into minutes, then into seconds. Crew members juggle priorities, protect the carrier at all costs, but don't leave the escorts exposed. Every engagement is a trade-off, and every hesitation risks letting a threat inside the shield. In this environment, time is the rarest commodity. The explosion leaves a wound across the flight deck. Shrapnel slices through the skin of parked jets, punching holes in the wing panels and rupturing fuel lines. Pools of jet fuel spread beneath the aircraft, mixing with foam as damage control teams race to contain the risk of fire. Sailors in heavy gear move quickly, dragging hoses and portable extinguishers, working in practiced silence. The acrid smell of burning insulation and spilled fuel lingers in the air. A petty officer, voice flat and steady, later describes it. It was chaos for a minute. You hear the alarm, you see smoke, you don't know if it's another drone coming or just debris. We just did what we're trained to do: get the fire out, get people out. Several crew members are injured, some by shrapnel, others by the blast's shock. Medics treat burns and lacerations on the spot, then move the wounded below decks. Flight operations, the heartbeat of the carrier, grind to a halt. No launches, no recoveries. For hours, the deck remains closed as teams clear debris, patch holes, and check every fuel line for leaks. Aircraft are towed to the hangar bay, their canopies spattered with foam and fragments. The ship's catapults and arresting gear are inspected again and again. Only when every hazard is cleared does the air boss give the order to resume. Until then, American air power over the region is silent. For those hours, the cost is measured not in the scale of destruction, but in the sudden absence of action. Red Sea shipping lanes spent months under constant drone harassment. Commercial tankers rerouted, insurance rates soared, and navies burned through interceptors at a pace no budget could sustain. In Eastern Europe, thousands of low-cost drones forced militaries to rethink what it means to defend against massed, imperfect threats. These were not isolated incidents, they were early warnings. Defense analysts point out that every successful drone penetration, no matter how minor, highlights a gap between new tactics and old doctrine. The cost equation is inverted. A drone that costs less than a family sedan can force a billion-dollar warship to pause, regroup, and rethink its next move. The U.S. Navy is already responding. Directed energy weapons, such as shipboard lasers, now promise to destroy incoming drones for little more than the cost of a cup of coffee per shot. Yet these systems face limits. Power levels, weather, and integration challenges mean they are not always available. Electronic warfare suites and new radar networks are being fielded to catch slow, low-flying threats, but full adaptation takes time. As one defense policy analyst puts it, warfare doesn't pause for doctrine to catch up. Each encounter drives home the urgency. The world's most advanced militaries must adapt faster than the threats evolve or risk losing certainty at sea. Today, a $20,000 drone can disrupt a $13 billion warship. As more actors gain access to these tools, even the most advanced militaries must rethink what secure means. In this new era, hesitation, not destruction, may decide the course of conflict. The future's margin for error just got smaller.